Hey guys, and welcome back to the Level Up. This is episode 4. This will go live on both YouTube and the member site. So if you're watching on YouTube, welcome back. This is episode 4. So unfortunately, guys, you've missed 2 episodes. So you may as well tune out now. No, I'm joking. So yeah, welcome back. And obviously, I totally understand if people aren't wanting to invest in the member site. It is, after all, like if you want to know, it's $4.99 a month. So you can get access to every single weekly video. The reason why I do this, guys, is ultimately I do want to get a little bit back from the investment of time and effort that I put into these videos. And I feel like it's almost an opportunity for me to stay very consistent and give extremely valuable content at the same time. It offers, I'm not going to lie, a bit of motivational factor in terms of me producing content, but also it allows me to educate and inform and also communicate with a little bit more of a close-knit community because of the forum and the pages that we have on there for people to raise questions, and also the Facebook group that you get access to as well, which you can ask questions in also. So it just allows a little bit more of a communication process there. So anyway, we're going to get straight stuck in with this week's episode. So as always, we're going to start with a bit of an update on myself, where I'm at, what's going to be going on, and then we're going to move into physique and also a leg session, which is my rotation 1, features back squats. So let's crack into things. So last week has been very busy. I had 5 clients compete in the Heart of England UKDFBA. See, these episodes usually go up on a Sunday, so usually I wouldn't know the results, but I do. So we had a fantastic day. Started off with the juniors. So I'll put up some photos of the guys here. So we had Jasmine, who unfortunately didn't place in the junior category, but he's a 19-year-old kid with an absolutely fantastic mindset. And I want a lot of people to be aware as to how amazing that is at that young of an age, to have an understanding that, yeah, he's going to have a hard time. And this is something I think is really important as a coach, is to almost be supportive, very supportive and very encouraging of your athletes to do well, and obviously focus on the idea that they want to ultimately win shows and you know, succeed. But at the end of the day, you need to set out goals for them that are realistic at the start of prep. And I remember saying to Jermaine, I was like, I will confidently get you in the best shape you've ever been in, but I am not going to guarantee you that you'll place in any of your shows. And he was like, yeah, okay, cool. I'm going to dedicate myself to this still. And that is admirable, man. And I told him, yes, this morning actually in his check-in, I said to him, look, man, you're going to go far in this sport because you have an athlete's mindset. You know what it takes to improve. You know where you're at. You have self-awareness, and you can move forwards and get better. Self-awareness as an athlete is incredibly, incredibly important. Conversely, so you have self-awareness to be very, very good. And a lot of very, very good athletes don't realize how good they are. Lindsay, I'll mention her in a bit. She's kind of in that bracket. And then you also have people that don't really realize that they're not quite there yet. And that's fine too, but they've got to realize that, because at some point they're going to get upset, they're going to get a disappointment, they're going to get a result they didn't want, and they're going to ruin their relationship with the sport. Jermaine, if you're watching this, dude, you're a fantastic, fantastic person, and a great friend of mine. So really good job to Jermaine. And I'm not just saying that because he didn't place. I'm saying that because I fucking mean it. Then we move on to the second junior which I had, which was Emilios. So Emilios came all the way from Cyprus to compete. So he does have residence in the UK, but he lives out in Cyprus with his work now and again. So he came over and he did fantastic. He placed 5th in a lineup of 12. Very, very tall guy, but his frame for a tall guy was pretty filled. He just needs a lot more muscle in his upper body, and he needs more muscle in his back. He needs more muscle in some of his front poses just to fill him out and give him more oomph, give him more density. And that's what he got beaten on. Just guys that are a bit more compact, shorter. The winner, Matt Berry, was very, very good. He came in really good condition. I saw him at the Midlands a month ago and he wasn't in shape, and he came in a lot harder, and it was really, really good to see him on the money. And it's always awesome to see an athlete that was like a little bit off, and then they did something and they just came back miles better. And I award that. You know, I had 2 athletes in the class. Matt came in, hit his front relaxed, and I shouted, I was like, Matt, that's fantastic. And he looked at me and he gave me a little nod, and then he won. Because I was like the winner. If from the front relax, you just kind of know. Even though there were some really good guys in it, the way he hit that front relax with such great confidence, he knew that he'd brought enough off, and he really had. Someone told me that he went like keto for like 4 weeks. Fair play. He managed to retain some pretty decent muscle with that if he did it. So that was juniors. So 5th place for Emilios, so he'll go on to the finals. I've said to Emilios, I said, mate, like we'll do everything we can. I've started reversing him because I don't really think he can get much leaner, and I will happily see him a bit leaner, but not much. And I think he can continue to lose fat in a reverse state anyway, so I was pushing him very hard. So maybe we'll even regain some muscle in 4 weeks, which would be cool. And then, so his goals will just to be, ultimately he wants to be top 5 of the British. It's possible, but I think it's unlikely. And I think he's more so just looking at that for experience. So we'll do that. And then I had Simon in the novices, and he did fantastic. Again, Simon, like one of those people that is so happy with a 3rd place and a qualification. From someone who in his last season, last year, didn't get any qualifications, didn't get any placings. And that's such a horrible end to a season. He knew he wanted more. So now he's got 2 3rd places, BNBF and UKDFBA. And for him, that is a win. That is a net win. We know he can get leaner, so we can pull more off for not only the BNBF finals this weekend, but then UKDFBA. And overall, like, I'm so pleased for him. I really, really am. Then we had Lindsay. Lindsay, can't say anything but good things about Lindsay, apart from the fact she needs to be just aware of how good she is. She really does, like, and I keep telling her, you're good, you're really good. And everyone telling her backstage, like, you're good. Even the tanning people were like, you're really good. And, you know when you spot someone that has that, just natural, like, shape and flow and balance and proportions and just suits the class. And she does exactly that. Feedback from the judges was fantastic. They said, don't change anything, bring her in that exact condition, because bring too much more off her, which I was constantly saying to her. I was like, yeah, your legs aren't super shredded, but bring more off and you'll be maybe fit body, or just pull away shape from your upper body. This is the balance you've got to think about with figure and fit body. There's a difference. You've got to make people fit the category. Even if they want to get leaner, you've got to make people fit the category. And, I was very confident in doing that. So I said to her, look, no, you're in a good place. Please just listen. Let's keep doing what we're doing. And thank God it paid off. Thank God it paid off, because I wanted her to win so badly. I was more nervous for her than I've been for some of my shows, because I knew how badly she wanted it. So yeah, Lindsay's super proud of her. And then finally we had Dan Crumpton in the lightweights, and Dan did fantastic. Came up against an awesome loaded class of lightweights, and I had him second. I had him definitely second. It was a battle between him in 3rd place for sure, but I had him definitely second. I don't think he could have pushed that winner, to be honest, even if he was inside out peeled, Dan. I just don't think right now, with his level of posing ability, which is, it's not bad for a first timer, but it needs to improve. And it's difficult for me. I can only do so much online. I can tweak things and make things better, but he really struggles with slight imbalances and just opening up on one side, and he gets very stiff in his scapula and his upper back, his traps, and it just narrows him off sometimes. And that's where he lets himself down. Well, doesn't let himself down. That's where his physique lets himself down sometimes. But the 1st place was fantastic. Dan looked incredible. I think ultimately maybe he spilled a little bit on the day. Perhaps we went pretty heavy on the load one day out, because we did 3 days, and on the last day we went pretty heavy. But, we learn, and I'm willing to learn and make mistakes to get better as a coach. So, yeah, fantastic weekend. I've just realised I've probably gone on about 10 minutes about just other people. So I'll very, very quickly cover where I'm at. Really happy with this week's physique shot. So I'm above 190 now. So I got here pretty fast. Really happy with how I'm looking. I say I'm really happy with how I'm looking. I'm a lot happier than I was last week. I think last week was a bit meh, to be honest. I wasn't so totally happy. This week, definitely more happy. Do I have enough muscle to win what I want to win next year, or do what I want to do next year? I don't know. Time will tell. I always doubt myself, and I need to give myself a little bit more credit sometimes, and remind myself that I'm doing okay. But we'll keep working away. The work is not done. I think I will start prep probably a March time, so I've still got a decent amount of time in an off season to making more improvements. So let's roll straight into the training session that I have today. So it's legs rotation 1. This features my back squat. So I have had this session on the level up before, so it'll be nice to sort of give my current updates as to where I'm at. This was a 10 out of 10 session, which again is I don't think I'll share too many of the 6 out of 10 sessions. I'll share a few that are not so good, but I always share this one because it went so well, and it was luckily enough one of the ones that I just recorded everything of. I don't record everything a lot of the time. I record things where I'm making a progression, or I record things where I know that I want to see it, like a compound, for example. I'll record that, but I won't always record every session. I just don't really want to. But when I have the time, I like to record most things. It's very important for form feedback as well, as we know. So started off with a single leg hammer strength leg curl. So that's unilateral standing. I like to do a standing, a seated, and a lying because I've got the ability to do so. And I do think personally, from an internal feel perspective, I feel a standing versus a lying versus a seated in different sort of parts of my hamstring. I feel definitely a stretch in the lengthened range in different areas of my hamstring on those different movements. I don't know whether anyone else agrees, but I definitely feel a stretch and a contraction in a slightly different area of the hamstring. So we did 3 sets there. Well, I did 3 sets there. All straight sets. I did 2 sets of 8 to 10 and one back off of 15 to 20. Again, I've always said my thoughts on high rep hamstring training is really good for building my muscle connection. I think having blood flow in the hamstrings is really important for when you go onto a squat compound. So give it a shot. Try a 15 to 20 rep set on a hamstring curl. Anything seated is normally quite nice. And let me know how your hamstrings feel after, because they'll probably feel pretty pumped and pretty well connected to them too. Back squat was secondary movement. I hit 180 for 10, which is my previous all-time best. And there was a few in the... tank there, probably 2 RIR, yeah. So I didn't purposely leave 2 RIR. I'm just working my way up to hitting some PBs here, and I'm making sure that my client Callum, I'm making sure I sandbag some of these things. So I send them to Callum, and then he's like, okay, that's the goal, and then he hits something the next week, and then I just smoke him. I just smoke him, yeah. I just send him across 180 for 10. I'm like, this is the standard, and then he'll hit I think he hit 190 for 8. So now I know I've just got to smoke that. Well, I don't think I will, to be honest. 190 for 8 is very strong. So yeah, and then 160 for 15 on the back off, which is a good set. So yeah, overall happy with how back squats went. Then went on to the single leg Atlantis leg press, which the other episode wasn't on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, this is a fantastic leg press. I always think about the importance of pulling yourself down into the seat in the leg press, and ultimately controlling where your knee goes, because especially on single leg, if you speed up those eccentrics or your tempo goes untoward, you're going to be in such a compromised position where you're going to get crushed on the normal leg press. This one, I still rinse the eccentrics, but the danger is much less. So I feel psychologically like I can push this a lot harder because I know that if something goes wrong at the bottom of this movement, I am no longer dying. Instead, I can actually just like let it come into full flexion, full knee flexion, and just ditch the load. So it's a lot more of a confident movement for me than doing a single leg press on a 45-degree leg press, for example. So I did 3 straight sets there. So after 2 sets on the squats, 3 straight sets on the single leg Atlantis leg press. I do quite like straight sets now and again. And in terms of the intensity on those straight sets, it's pretty simple. The first set might be a 1 to 2 RIR. The second set might be a 1 RIR. And the last set might be a 0. Okay, I don't think about that in my head. But I know that if I do a set on the first set and I go 0 RIR or failure, that has ruined my ability to accumulate volume in the latter sets. So then I move on to all my unilateral work. So this is like my unilateral day. So I have these days to even out body parts, make sure I'm working both quads evenly, both hamstrings evenly, both glutes evenly, because I want a balanced physique. I don't want something looking off. I want everything looking balanced. I think unilateral work is key if you want a balanced physique, because a lot of the time, one side of your body part's going to take over from the other. Especially even on things like leg extensions, when you're fairly locked in, it can happen. So especially shit leg extensions, which have more load on one side than the other. So, yeah, but that's the story for another day. So I did 3 straight sets on the leg extension, single leg. 2 straight sets on the single leg curl, which is one of my favorite movements for the hamstrings. These are all 12 to 15 rep ranges. And then 2 straight sets on the single leg glute bridge, which again is super high reps. I did, I think, 17 reps and then 18 reps. So again, I'm just focusing here, keeping one leg elevated, tucking my chin at the top of the movement, giving myself like a triple chin, and then contracting hard at the top. So, you know, when you're doing a hip thrust, just think triple chin, you know, even if you haven't got one like me. Then I finished off with adductor and abductor rest pauses. I do these because they are very time efficient and they are a good intensity method for the hip abductor muscles and the hip adductor muscles. And they are essentially the bits which, well, the inner bits are definitely the bits which close the gap nicely in your rear double bicep, front double biceps, where we just look like, you know, natties, essentially. You know, I don't want to look like a natty all the time, you know. I believe that, you know, I probably will still look like a natty because I am natty, but ultimately if I can have some half natty adductors, that would be nice. So I'll look less like a natty, which is good, but yeah, I'll still look natural. But yeah, so yeah, adductor rest pause is something I've progressed for a long time. It's quite easy to, well, it's quite easy. It's quite decent to progress because you can add a rep on either one of the rest pauses. The way that I set it up is I do anywhere between like a 12 and a 15 12 and a 15 first set, 5 deep breaths. So 5 of those. If you didn't know what a deep breath looks like, that's what a deep breath looks like. Just did one. So you can implement that into your routine now, a deep breath. Pro tip. So then I did, you know, 5 deep breaths and then another set to fail with the same weight and then 5 deep breaths and another set to fail with the same weight. Same on both adductor and abductor. And then I did calves to finish. And I don't think I did abdominals on this day. If I did, I didn't log them, which is silly boy. But yeah, I am doing abdominals most leg days. Normally a weighted crunch, something weighted, and something that includes spinal flexion for the health of the spine, but also for the thickness of the abdominal muscles, because I think growing your abs, having a bit more thickness there is mighty beneficial for that aesthetic midsection on stage. And also it's good, in my opinion, for the ability to connect with your midsection and therefore keep it tight on stage. So I'm gonna leave it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching and supporting these episodes. The support on the first one was ridiculous, quite frankly. So I really appreciate anyone that tunes in. I'm at the BNBF finals this weekend in Perth, Scotland. So if you are there, please do come and say hi and, you know, grab an image or whatever, or just have a chat. I'm more than willing to. I have 5 clients in the show. I'm really looking forward to it. Should be an amazing weekend. And I'll chat to you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Thank you.